I had this conversation with my son this morning about having a routine and preparing mentally for a game. And the reason why this came up is because we had a morning game. It wasn't a super early morning game, but it was a morning game nonetheless. And when I went to pick him up, it was more of he was in a good mood, but I noticed he was, kind of going through the motions of, got up, brushed his teeth, cleaned up, went and got his clothes from the dryer because they had been washed, got dressed, and was like, okay, I'm ready. And for me as a father, I know that my son wants to do baseball on a much higher level. And I'm not one of those dads who's pushing my kids to do something that they don't want to do. There's a lot of fathers out there who are living their dreams behind, behind their sons or their daughters, and they're pushing their kids to do things that they used to do in hopes that maybe they can go and take this farther than they did when they were kids. I'm not that father because I didn't go very far in baseball. In fact, I only played high school ball. I didn't have, and I've already told a lot of you guys who listen to my podcast or watch my podcast, I didn't have the family structure to push me to go play college or even try to play college ball or even go to college. That my family life was not the best. But needless to say, I'm not that dad who's now trying to live vicariously through my children and push them to be something that they're not. My kids have told me in long talks how much they love this game and how much they want to go to the next level and pursue it. So when I'm told that as a father, I want to support that. And if I have some knowledge about it, I want to pass that to you. And if I have, like I have right now, a circle of coaches that I've been around, grown up with, played with, and guys that who have gone to the next level and beyond, if I have these people, I'm going to tap their shoulders and get ideas and find out what needs to take place in order for my children to have the best opportunity to move forward. And like we always say, baseball is a very tough sport to go pro. All right. It's probably the most difficult. So your goal should always be to play more years. Meaning you get out of high school, your goal should be to play 4 more years, college ball. And then let the chips fall where they may. But you should be playing through high school, and then if you are blessed to go to college or get a scholarship, a partial ride, a full ride, whatever it is, whether you take the JUCO route, playing 2 years, and then going in and playing D1 or D2, D3, whatever it is, your goal should be playing 4 more years. And then whatever happens after that is a blessing. If you go semi-pro, if you're able to get drafted, go into the minors and try to work your way through the system, that's a blessing. So I always tell my kids, if you want to do that, if you want to go to the next level, there's certain things that you need to get better at. And one of them is having a routine before the game. Now, a lot of kids have routines, when they get to the game. They show up, they do their stretching, they do their J bands, they do their habituals, they take their hacks off the tee, or they do soft toss, working with plyo balls. I mean, you name it. They're doing long toss. Everything that you need to do, they're doing. So that's a good routine. But what I'm telling my children, I'm telling, and I told some of the kids that I coach today is your routine has to begin before that, especially for a morning game. Morning games, a lot of kids treat it like the morning to go to school. You get up, roll out of bed, go brush your teeth, go put your clothes on, grab your bag, I'm ready to go. And that is not the way to start it. I told both of my kids, there has to be discipline. And what I mean by that is you need to be up an hour and a half to 2 hours before your game. You have to be up and start before you get in that car. That means get up, brush your teeth, wash your face. If you've already showered, cool. You don't even have to have your uniform on yet. Do some stretching, say a prayer, meditate, do whatever it is, or even if you just need some quiet time, close your eyes, sit down, and envision the game. Envision playing, making plays. Envision catching the ball. Envision throwing the ball. Envision diving, making an excellent play. Envision hitting the ball. Envision going the opposite direction on a hit. Envision all these things. Envision, if you're a catcher, throwing a kid out. Envision catching a pop-up. Close your eyes and envision the baseball game. All right? You should be having something to eat, some fruit, something light breakfast, oatmeal, whatever, orange juice, electrolytes, water, hydrating, doing all of these things. When you're done, get your uniform on, maybe go outside in the backyard. If you don't have a backyard, do it in your room or wherever you have room. Practice doing your habituals by yourself, scooping the ball, fielding the ball, take dry hacks. Get mentally prepared to go to the game and perform. Do all of this so you are stretched out, loose, your mind is clear, you've gotten a little something in your stomach, you're hydrated, you're feeling good, you've envisioned the game. Now we grab your equipment, we grab your water, we grab everything we need, put it in the car. You are now in the car. We are taking the drive to the field. Then that is when your workout starts with your team. You do the exercise, you do the stretches, you do the team jog, you take the hacks off the tee, you take the soft toss hacks, you do short toss, you do long toss, you do some habituals now with your partner. Now you're working with your team. But your routine should start in the morning before you get in that car and get to the field. I told my son, it is very important. If you, like you've told me, want to do this at a high level, then it has to start early. You cannot treat this like a day of school and get up, roll out of bed, brush your teeth, comb your hair, grab your bag, and throw on your sneakers and say, okay, I'm ready for school. You are actually going to be active playing a game to where you need to be mentally and physically ready. You're not sitting at a desk in a classroom. You are going to do something physical that is going to require you to be limber, stretched out, and ready to go once you get there. It has to happen. So I'm sharing this because when I got to the field, and all my young ballers, if they're watching this, these guys all know I love them. All these kids I coach, I love them. But I always share insight that I have because I want them to be better. I want them to, the day that they leave my team and they go play high school ball or they go wherever they go to play ball, I want them to take something from what I'm teaching them to the next level and say, this thing that Coach Ray taught me helped me become a better ball player. It helped me become more disciplined. It taught me how to become somebody who's trying to get to that next level. All right. So today I noticed, excuse me. Today I noticed when I got to the ballpark that my team was a little, they didn't seem too locked in. They weren't acting out, but they were just, kind of cruising through like a normal morning, right? But I noticed that. I noticed when they were, taking hacks, everything was kind of lackadaisical, just relaxed. Now, that can be good if you've got a game under your belt and, now you've already played a full game. Now you're just kind of cruising through, taking your hacks, trying to stay warm to get to the next game. I get it. But for the first game of the morning, that Energy has to be up. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. Because my theory is this, especially if you are seated higher than the team that you're playing that morning, in which we were. That team that is not seated as high as you is looking to send you home early. They are coming fired up. They know they're playing a higher seed, and they're coming to hand you your ass, point blank. So you need to pick that energy up, and you need to lock in the minute you step in. And it wasn't there. And we didn't have such a great game today. And, we ended up pretty much getting our ass handed to us. And my approach to games like this is I don't take the route of, yelling at anybody or taking their heads off and ridiculing the kids, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing. My theory is this. Do you think they wanted to go and get the doors blown off them? Do you think they wanted to drop a fly ball in the outfield? Do you think they wanted to juggle that ground ball on the infield? Do you think they wanted to strike out? Do you think they wanted to pop up? They didn't want to do any of that. But the ball bounces the way it bounces sometimes. Those kids didn't go out there to get blown out. They had an off day, weren't themselves. We've seen what we can be and what we are, and today we weren't that. So my approach after games like that is to ask them, how are you feeling? Guys feeling okay? Everybody shakes their head. Nope. Said it don't feel good, right? Nope. I said, I don't like feeling like that on Sundays. This is not a good feeling. But don't forget this feeling, because if you don't want to feel like this, learn from it. I said, so I don't know how many of you got on, the website and saw that we were playing the 6 seed and we're the 3 seed and thought, oh, cool, we're going to cruise through this first game and then get back to the next bracket and play the team that we really want to play. Because if you did do that, you made a grave mistake. Because what you need to understand is this. There's a saying called, this is why they play the game. All right? And you just found that out. Just because someone is the 6th seed doesn't mean they are a lesser team than us. It means maybe they were off for one of their games and they just ended up being the 6th seed because they had an off day. Today, does it feel like they had an off day? No. Now let me tell you this. If you were one of those kids looking at the bracket and you noticed what I noticed, there was a team in the consolation game that was playing for no ring, no medal, no nothing. In the consolation game that lost to the 1 seed by 1 run. And they are in the consolation game. So what does that tell you? All of these teams were good teams. And that we just took it for granted. I said, guys, there has to be a routine that you guys have. You have to have discipline. I didn't see that this morning when I showed up here. What I saw was everybody kind of cruising through. There was a couple of you guys doing your thing, but the majority of you guys were kind of cruising through, taking lazy hacks, doing everything nonchalant. And what that tells me is this. You probably got up, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had this talk with my son. You rolled out of bed, asked mom if your stuff's dry, grabbed your uniform out of the dryer, threw it on, didn't eat nothing, didn't drink any water, brushed your teeth, grabbed your bag, and said, okay, I'm ready. If that was you this morning, and you don't have to answer that, you're already losing. Already. Every single one of you kids here has a favorite player. And I can guarantee you, if you think the videos you see of all these guys working out at the stadium before a game is the first time they're actually working out that day, you are highly mistaken. Highly. Those guys have a routine that they do by themselves before they get to that stadium. It doesn't matter what sport on a professional level. All of these athletes are where they are because they have a routine that they do prior to what the team does. You can look up Steph Curry. You can check Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. You can check all these guys. Name your favorite baseball player. Shohei Ohtani, Logan Webb. Football players, Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. You name it, all of these guys have routines that they do prior to getting to the stadium. And guys, this is your stadium. And if you didn't have that routine down this morning and you rolled out of bed and thought you were going to come here and perform, you're wrong. And if you're somebody who wants to take this game to the next level, you've got to change that. I can tell you and advise you to do it, and even give you routines that other people do that you should include in your daily routine. But I don't live with none of you guys. I can't force you to do it. And you know what? You're at the age now where your parents can't force you to do it. You have to do it. And I'm telling all of you guys listening or watching, if you're a kid in high school, if you're not in high school, but you're playing ball at a high level, if your parents are watching this or listening to this and they're playing at a high level, you're spending lots of money for travel ball, that routine is very important. You have to get that down. Even for an afternoon game, afternoon games are tough as well because you spend half the day at home relaxing, probably gaming and hanging out, eating junk food, and then you get ready an hour before the game and you mosey on down to the field, full off Cheetos, full off Gatorade, and spending 3 hours on Fortnite or MLB The Show, and you think you're ready to go. The routine is very necessary. And me as a parent, if there are other parents listening or watching this, I highly recommend that you get your child into a routine of preparing before they get to a game and not just casually throwing on their uniform. And see, I'm talking to the families and kids who are doing travel ball, because with Little League, I get it. You've paid, your registration fee, and then that's it. And then you play, and then everybody gets to play. With travel ball, there is a team membership fee, there is a uniform fee, and there's also tournament fees. So you're paying money for all of this stuff. It's not just you sign up and the kid makes a team and you pay one fee and then they're good for the season. There are monthly dues. That's why travel ball is difficult for a lot of people. It gets expensive. So I'm talking to those families, those children who are playing. You have to take this serious. You have to have this routine implemented in your daily schedule when it comes to the weekend and you getting ready to play games. It's important. You should be limber, loose. You should be locked in mentally, ready to go. I've seen 10, 11, 12-year-olds doing this. I've talked to kids. I've coached all kinds of kids. And there are some kids that are more disciplined than the others. But here's the thing that you have to decide. Are you playing baseball just because your friends are playing baseball and it's just fun? And that's great. Trust me. We need those kids too. That is fantastic. But if you are the kid who is playing because this is your sport, this is all you know, this is what you give your blood, sweat, and tears for, and you have aspirations to play high school ball at a high level, you have aspirations to go play college ball and give it your best shot. If that is you, then what I'm telling you on this podcast, you need to implement a routine. It is of the most importance that you do that. You will see a difference if you come to the game and you are already locked in. You're loose. You did your stretches. You're completely fine. You're good. You've already done some work by yourself. Now you're with your teammates because you've already locked in. You will see a difference. And once you get on that field, you'll notice, man, I am limber. I'm ready. This is what I envisioned. You understand? Now, does that guarantee you're going to have a great game every time? No. Baseball is a very difficult sport. Very difficult. I tell everybody this all the time, and you've heard it. It is the only sport that you can be 30% good at and be considered the greatest or one of the greatest. It is a very difficult sport, and everything that I'm telling you as a routine doesn't guarantee that you're going to be perfect. Doesn't guarantee a win, but what it guarantees is this. You have consistency because of that routine, and you will become a better ball player. Just like going to the gym. If you have consistency in going to the gym, over time, you will see a change. You will see your face change. You will see your body change. You will feel your mentality change in your head. Your thoughts become clean. You get hungry for more because you have a routine and you're consistently going. I always tell everybody, you can't go in the gym and lift all the heavy weights, run a mile and say, man, I feel good, and then disappear for a month. No, you have to go in, lift consistently, hit the treadmill, the sauna, do all of these things consistently. And over time, you will see change. You will see progress. Same thing with this routine. And I promise you, you will see the difference. I hope this hits home for some of you guys. I've got a camp coming up this coming weekend, and this is something that I'm going to make sure to pass along to these kids at this camp. And hopefully it gets through to whoever's listening, whether you be a parent, whether you be a kid who's playing ball right now. I hope this gets through to you because, for me, I know how bad some of you kids want this. I know, okay? And if you want it that bad, you got to take this on yourself, okay? Can't put it off on mom and dad to get you ready. You got to take it on yourself and have the discipline. And I'll tell you what, you want to impress your parents? When you implement that discipline for baseball, life is kind of funny because that discipline, it spills over to other things in your life. It starts spilling over into doing your chores at home. It spills over to school because you want to get up for school earlier. You want to be prepared for school earlier. It all starts to spill over and you become a better person overall because of this routine, because of the discipline that you're implementing in your life. All right. That's all I got. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening, guys. This is the Perfect Mess Podcast, and I'm your host, Ray Molina, and also known as Coach Ray. My website is raymolina.com. My Instagram is @itsraymolina. The podcast is @theperfectmesspod. The YouTube is youtube.com/@theperfectmesspod. Please subscribe and hit the notifications bell, and you'll get all the notifications for every episode like this one here. And any shorts that I put up, you'll get all those notifications. So hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'm on every other social media. Just search for me. You will find me, Twitter or X or whatever it is. You will find me there, all right? I do accept donations. You don't have to donate, but people have sent me donations or sent me messages asking how they could donate to the podcast. If you would like to, it's not necessary, but I have a Venmo. It's @itsraymolina. My Venmo that's my Venmo. My Cash App is $itsraymolina. If you do Zelle or any other thing, just send me a message and I'll give you that information. All right. I love you guys. And like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace.